Okay, so today we are going to be looking at the Del Mar planning and the Del Mar design review. Today is a Del Mar day on here. If you remember, we've done, I think, almost all of these already. I have different videos for each of these. I did a whole batch of Encinitas ones last time. But I'm going to do Del Mar today, and we got two of them. We got planning, and we have a design review. And we're going to check both like usual. Remember down here, if we need it, is our Sandicor, our MLS login, our Data Connect, which I've gone over before. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Del Mar planning. So we're going to click that. It's going to open it up to us. And this is what Del Mar's planning commission website looks like. You should know by now that each of the different cities that we look at has different a different feel and a different layout to kind of how all theirs are. Some are pretty much similar for the most part, but some are different. This one's relatively easier. So on this, you can scroll down and just see this if you want. But what we're going to look at on here on the Planning Commission is the View All Agendas and Minutes. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And January 10th agenda shows up on here that we can see. And there's January 10th, and there's two of these, which isn't really that. I mean, it's the same thing, but we're going to look at the agenda part instead of the complete package because the minutes and the staff reports are a lot longer. And it just has a lot more information that we don't need because we don't need to know about staff reports and things like that. So all we want is the agenda. The agenda's on here, but we just kind of have to search for it. And this just gives us the agenda nice and easy right here. So we're going to do that. We're going to go look at this. And that one was from, as we could see on here, January 10th. So what we do also is we have to look at our master list, our ongoing list of prospects. And what we see is the Del Mar Planning Commission is through 110. The review's up next, but right now the commission is through 110, which is this one. So this is, they don't have one. They don't have a more recent one than this as of right now. So what we do is we're going to scroll through it. Here's just like intro stuff. A 725 amphitheater Rick Ray exam. Okay, so this doesn't have to deal with us. A patio cover attached to an existing residence. See, that's just like a remodel basically. They're just adding something. And this one is only 3 pages. So there's not a whole lot on here right now. Sometimes it's more and has more useful information or a couple more properties that we could potentially look at. But this one only has 1, so that's a little weak. So that takes care of the Planning Commission. Remember, this is Tuesday, January 10th. So back on our prospects calendar, if this was a date before that and we were checking to update this, we would go in here and type in 110 because now we've checked the most recent one. Which I've already checked. And now, we're going to go back to our prospects, back to this. Del Mar planning is now done. So what we're going to do now is we are going to look at the Del Mar design review board. So we're going to click that link. And we are going to look at here. And it takes us to basically the same looking page, just a different part of it. If you remember before, this part right here, it said Planning Commission, or but this one is the Design Review Board, which we check anyways, just because it can have useful information for us. So we go ahead and look at it anyways. We're gonna view all of our agendas and minutes again. And the most recent one we could see here, because it opens up the same way, is January 25th. 25th, 25th, 25th. So remember, we don't deal with this. We don't need to see the complete package with the agenda and the staff reports, because that's a lot of unnecessary scrolling and information we don't need. So we just look at the agenda, but remember the agenda is also in this. One time in the past, this agenda link didn't work, so I had to click on this one, the bigger file, and it was in here actually. So for some reason they just messed up one time and didn't put the link to just the agenda on this part. So sometimes that happens. So we're going to take a look at this one now. And as we could see, January 25th, that's the date of this one. So we go back to our prospects, the Del Mar Design Review, January 25th. So we are currently up to date on this one. But remember, if we weren't, we would, do this. We'd look through this, and then we would readjust the date, since that's the most recent one we've done now. So we're going to go ahead and look at this. Remember, there's just like the intro, the preliminary, just boilerplate, stuff I'm sure they put on all of them. And we're going to scroll. Okay, so here's a couple applications. We got 539 15th Street, the Paul Company LLC request. Demolish one-story single-family residence, construct a new one-story single-family residence. So this is a good one, but it has the applicant agent as the Paul Company LLC. And that's a little concerning, because that could be, a contractor company, or somebody else might already have that. Yeah, so we did not put that on our most recent list, because that sounds like, and usually if it's an LLC, that means they already have, it's either a building company or, some kind of company like that. So that would be one that we would do, if they didn't already have a potential builder like this is. On to item 2, Stratford Court. Design review, coastal and demolish 3 existing residential buildings containing 5, construct 2 new detached single-family residences. That would be a great project. However, the applicant agent, Jim McMiniman, and Zephyr Partners. So this would be one that is good. However, I already know Zephyr Partners. They are a construction company, a construction firm, where we're from too. So that's an issue, because that means they already have a contractor, and that'd be Zephyr right now. Zephyr builds really modern and contemporary residences for the most part, which is how a lot of Del Mar is getting now. So we're not going to do that one, because they already have a contractor. This one, item 3, install 7 signs. Okay, that's a no. Oh, for the Brigantine. Yeah, that's just a restaurant. That's just, that's cosmetic stuff. Placement of 1 non-illuminated sign. No. Breeders' Cup. The proposed clock. No. New elevator. No. Demolish. Okay, here we go. Demolish existing single-family residence and the construction of a new 2-story. Ooh, that'd be nice. Okay, so here, and the contact person, we have an owner. Oh, that's item 6, excuse me. We have Joseph Bivash as the owner. Now remember, we don't see any contractor on here. We just have a contact person, and that's just in a, that guy probably works for an organization or the city or something like that. But we don't have any construction partners on here yet. So what we do, this gives us APN, location, owner, and the description. So what we're going to do then is we go to our prospects, because this is a great prospect that works for us. And that was Joseph Bivash. So if you see on here already, we've already input in this guy's information, Joseph Bivash. We put the address. We know it's in Del Mar. The zip code, we know that. And the APN. A lot of these plan checks don't give you the APN sometimes. but this one does, which is great. And so we got APN right here, or excuse me, right here. And we would just input that right here. And then we would go into the MLS, given this APN with our, Sandicor password and username like I've showed you before. And we would look up this and we would see what kind of other information we can find, which is how we probably found his middle name. And, just a couple more information about this, his mailing address. So that's definitely a great prospect that we just input right there from the design review board. Next one, item 8. We just did 7. 8. Doug Simpson, 218 22nd Street, Del Mar. Remember, we have the APN right here. Allow modifications to the roof of an existing single-family residence and the construction of a new detached accessory. So that's something that we could do. We could do existing. That just sounds. It could be an expensive remodel. Interior and exterior remodeling, construction of a new. Yeah, so that could be something we are definitely interested in. So what we do then is we go back to our prospects, and remember we've already got him in here, Doug Simpson. It gives us the address. We already know the city because that's what we're looking at. The zip, the APN, which luckily the Del Mar folks like to give us on these, which just makes it easier. So we put all our information in, then we check the MLS, and we find his mailing address. And that's our 2 prospects for this up to this date of, see, that's the end of the list. Those are our 2 prospects for the Del Mar, the Planning Commission, and the Design Review Board, the DRB. And that's going to end this. We put our information in here, and that's how we do Del Mar.